Can you hear me? The others. The impact.
When you first crash land after that first level of Halo, and you stumble out of this crashed Pelican into this huge, beautiful, peaceful valley, and you suddenly see the horizon doesn't curve downwards away from your vision, it curves upwards into the sky. I don't want to overstate it, but it's kind of a magical feeling, and you think, I think I can go there. I think I can explore this place. And then of course, people start shooting at you.
The war's already raging. The game's not giving you much time to go like, hold on, who are the bad guys? Why are they attacking me? No, the war has happened for at least 20 years prior to the events of Halo, and those 20 years are being addressed in Halo Wars.
The Halo universe is kind of familiar to people. It's a classic science fiction story. It's, you know, it's aliens, it's Armageddon. It has a big epic feel to it.
They didn't just make a story. They made a whole world. They've definitely fleshed it out enough that, you know, there's characters, there's story, there's worlds. There's actually a whole universe that you're a part of.
There's all this cool kind of archaeology vibe going on with the Forerunner artifacts. There's all these really neat aliens that you haven't quite seen before.
We have 26th century human soldiers driving around in basically cars and shooting bullets. Makes it easy to recognize what's human and what's alien.
It's very well thought out. Everything is very realistic and it makes sense. The amount of content is much larger than what's actually seen in any of their games.
A good actor usually comes up with a backstory for their character, even though the audience will never know it.
If we have it bottomed up and if we believe it, then it's going to make for a more believable and more cohesive universe for the player.
It's huge, like the universe is so massive. But now that Halo Wars is out, it's almost like the story is just brand new.
If you're a huge Halo fan, you've probably read some of the books, the graphic novels.
The fact that Halo novels have been on the New York Times bestseller list is very surprising and very unusual.
It can't be taken lightly to just add a new story. Especially with Halo, there's so many fans that if there's some discrepancy, they're going to know it immediately, and everyone's going to know it.
In our case, you know, we're a prequel. How are we going to lead into the story that the people already know? How are we going to set the foundation that makes you go, oh yeah, so that's how this came about?
Often in Halo, you can look up and see a space battle going on around you, or evidence of a broader, larger conflict. In Halo Wars, you're controlling that larger conflict.
We pull back. You're 40 feet off the ground. You step back and really see this world. There's not just a one Master Chief going through.
Halo Wars is a strategy game that kind of abandoning the idea of having one main character, which means it's really about the universe and the fiction.
It's very, very daring, though I think it's also a very sensible approach because it does allow for a different storytelling technique.
It took us a little while to figure out how to do that in a way that felt like it was still Halo.
Halo Wars is set 20 years before the events of Halo 1, 5 years after war has broken out between the Covenant and UNSC.
This is telling the story of Harvest, which is where the humans first made contact with the Covenant.
In the Halo universe, the planet Harvest used to be the farm planet for the UNSC, you know, the humans in space. And then the Covenant show up and blow the hell out of it.
It's kind of a nuclear winter, it's kind of a husk. Well, okay, not really much left here, but there is something left there at this time. There is something valuable on the planet's surface, and Spirit of Fire has been sent to investigate what that is. Okay, so we're at Harvest. Spirit of Fire has arrived, and we've been told to reactivate Alpha Base. As we arrive on the map, though, bad things are happening.
The first battle in Halo Wars is set on Harvest, which is the location for Joe Staten's novel, Contact Harvest. It's famous in Halo lore for being at that meeting point of the two forces. But I think that looking at it as if it were real history is one of the things that helps it feel tightly mapped to the Halo FPS universe.
It's the start of the war between the UNSC and the Covenant.
One of the most compelling things about the Halo Wars story, certainly for hardcore fans, is going to be seeing Spartans in their prime.
Let's go.
Wow, we were a little bit more awesome back then when we had all these Spartans running around.
I've been playing as one Spartan for a long time. It's almost as if I can see a bunch of me's down there.
By the time that the events of Halo 1 happened, there's generally only one well-known Spartan alive, that's Master Chief.
People are familiar with Master Chief. They're sort of familiar with the idea he's the last Spartan. What they may not be familiar with is that the Spartans were originally designed not to fight the Covenant, but to control human populations and insurgencies in human colonies. It puts them in a very dark,
like?
A pretty important piece to the Halo backstory is being played out through this game.
Son, I have a feeling before this is over, we'll need every last Spartan in the fight.
I mean, if Halo was a painting, there'd be one chunk of it that's Master Chief's story from the trilogy of games that's very well filled in, but it's a big canvas.